Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I am Jumi Kim. I'm an assistant professor at the College of New Jersey. Um, you might see the different name listed on the program. I'm presenting on behalf of Kelly Duan, Dr. Kelly Duan, who couldn't make it today due to a cold. Um, so I wish quick recovery for her, and then I wish everyone here stays healthy. So today I'm going to talk about the process mining and how AI can complement process mining. So major part of the presentations, I'm going to explain what process mining is. And then the later part of slides will be how AI can integrate it into process mining technology. So when I explain process mining, I like to compare with data mining and process mining. So data mining, we try to get the useful information from the large data. And process mining, we focus on processes. So we're trying to discover processes from the large data, normally extracted from company's ERP system. So the similarity between data mining and process mining that we are using some type of algorithms to find some hidden patterns and information from the data so that we can use for our decision making. The difference is that data mining focus on the pattern. Okay. So like information, the pattern of the data, whereas process mining focuses on processes. And also difference is that data mining often focus on the mainstream of the data. There's other tech the algorithms focusing on the outliers and deviations, but then most of the data mining algorithm focus on the mainstream. What's the trend of the data? If we look at the consumer data, what's the trend of the consumers, right? Versus for process mining, we're focusing on the deviation. So we have the main processes, and then after we discover some of the possible processes and how some of the few processes deviated from the norm, and then why it's deviated, whether it's acceptable or not acceptable, whether it's also considered as a violation. So we're more focusing on the deviations rather than the mainstream. I would say that's the main difference between data mining and process mining. So why do we need process mining? You probably know already business process management, and it has been used in the industry for a while. So business process management is methods used to discover, model, analyze, measure, improve, optimize, and automate business processes. So the business process is really crucial part for business process management. So if the process is not aligned with the reality, if doesn't really reflecting the reality, that's gonna direct people perform in the different way. So the limitation of the handmade models, which is prepared by the manual collection of the data or through the communication and collaboration with other divisions, sometimes it doesn't align with the reality. Then that will be, so having the wrong process model for the data business process management, it's not going to increase the efficiency of the business process management. So the process mining bridges the gap between these two, which is data mining and the business process management. So here we're extracting the process based on the data, and then we use the process to monitor and improve, automate the business processes. So there's the source of the data to do process mining analysis, which is called event log, and this data is normally extracted from companies' information system, such as workforce management system, business process management system, enterprise resource planning system, etc. So this is how the event log, very simple version of the event log, how it looks like. This constitute with case ID, event ID, timestamp, activity, and etc. So case ID is a unique identifier for each unique transactions. So we can distinguish every different processes based on this case ID. And also activities is specific action was taken in the system. So what kind of activities happen within the business processes. And timestamp all tell you date and time when the activity took place. I put the red mark and on the event logs telling you that these three attributes are the must to the process mining, because every processes we distinguish with case ID. And also we want to see what kind of activities are there in the business process. So that's activity attributes. And then we want to see the order of activities. That's we use timestamp columns. So the event log actually is not like given. We have to extract from the company's ERP system, information system. So normally the data is scattered into multiple different tables. So we have to understand what kind of data is saved in which tables, and then grab like and then combine those data from the multiple tables. For example, this is the example of the SAP table. So SAP table have a table name such as EBAN, EKPO, and etc. So we have to map the table with the activity that we're looking into. For example, if we're looking at the purchase requisition, we want to get this information from EBAN table. And then if we're looking for purchase order or quotations, we want to get this information from EKPO table. If we're interested in goods received, then MSEG table, invoice received, RSEG table, and then payments BSEG table. So I'm going to talk about how we can use AI when we extract the event log, because this is one of the challenging part when you do the process mining analysis. So we're going to talk about more you're going to talk more about this. So after we mapping the activities and then tables, we extract those activities and then flatten into one event log table. So there are three key capabilities of process mining. First, discovery. So discovery is using the data, we are extracting the business process model based on the data, which is reflecting the reality, right? And then conformance is once we extract the business process model, we compare with the data and then extract the business process model. So business process model will be based on the historical data, right? The past data, and then we continuously collect the data, right? And then that will be created into event log, and then we can compare whether people are following the business process they should follow and whether there's any deviations from it. And if there's any deviation, we enhance the model. If the deviation is acceptable for the flexibility of a business, right? Then we want to improve the model by reflecting those deviation and consider as acceptable path. So those are the three key main capabilities of process mining. This is the screenshot from the Celonis. So this is one of the leading software for process mining analysis. So trial version, as I remember, for the educator is free, so you can try it. So after we fit into event log to the program, we can create the dashboards, and then we can create this variant explorer view. So on the left side, it shows each variant, what kind of variants are there in the data. And then variance is, by definition, a chronological sequence of events that shows all the different paths that cases to get from the beginning of the process to the end, which means that like different cases, how process can be in a different path. So it's kind of showing like different paths within the data. So you could see each path, what kind of activities and order of activities. And also by clicking the each variants, you can see how those activities are different in different variants. And also you can, by dragging, selecting all variants, you can see the view on the right side. So this graph is showing the entire business operations of the data, which looks a little complicated, so often called a spaghetti model. So you can also look at the entire view of the data. We can also do conformance checking on Celonis. So after we extract the models will be uploaded to the software, and then it's automatically giving the KPI, the metrics related to the conformance checking. So after this program comparing with the event log data and then the process model we confirm or upload it or agree on, it's checking how much case ID, how much variants are, how much case IDs are confirming with this model. And you can say 52% are confirming, And then you can also see the numbers, 146,000 cases confirming the model and 133,000 cases non-confirming the model. And then this automatically detects 16 out of all the cases are violations. And then once there's a violations, we want to review what kind of violations are there. And then again, if we want to improve the process model, there's a button, then you could see the list of the violations. You can add it to the allo list, which is which you're telling the process mining software saying that this is not the violations. So later on, when we do the conformance checking with the different data, they're not gonna detect this as a violation. There's other functions on the Celonis, but then these are the three things that I want to just include in the slides. We can also do other additional analysis besides control flow perspective, which we just showed. Focus on control flow, the ordering of activities. We can also look at the resource data, which is who did certain activity, like who did it, right? We can focus on those informations, and then we can see how people are involved with each other in the business processes. And also we can do case perspective. So here we're looking at the case as a data points. So when we do the data analysis, every data point is a row, right? But then here, when we do the case perspective analysis, we combine the entire case into one data point. So we also see the order of activities, also the metrics related to the case. And then the time perspective is we concerned about the durations of the entire business processes, or whether there's any repetitions of the activity, which could be meaning the redundancy or inefficiency, right? So that we are looking at the time stem attributes to the time perspective analysis. So what are the advantages of process mining for auditing? First, it enhances transparency, and then process visualizations. As you see, once we put the data, instead of looking at the tables, we can see the visualized business processes. So it increase the understanding for the auditors. And also it's data-driven insights. So this analysis is data-driven based on the data, right? So it's more accurate. It's unbiased. Also, we can easily detect non-compliance deviations by looking at the deviated path or outliers. We can see some of the skip approval, excessive delays, or some of the other possible potential violations within the business process. Also, we can improve efficiencies in auditing because we use, as you see, we use a software, so we fit in the data and then it give you the results. So it's easier for the auditors to detect some of the possible risky areas. Lastly, we can do real-time auditing because this data, we can collect it in real time. So we can check whether some of them are, whether some of the business processes we have to consider in real time. So here, our theme here for the conference is AI. So I prepared a couple slides how AI can complement process mining. So currently, we cannot fit in the large process mining event data to LLM model, right? So that we cannot really do the process mining analysis by feeding the event logs into LLM. But so we cannot really fully use the AI, but then we can use AI to enhance the capabilities of process mining. First, we can use AI for event data creation. So one of the advantages of LLM is inputting the unstructured data such as text, and then we can create structured data based on that, right? So in the process mining, we need structured data. So it's adding extra data for process mining analysis by making unstructured data to structured data. Not only that, and when I mentioned about extracting the event log from the ERP system, you have some kind of prior understanding about the data. If you're just getting the data and to do the analysis, yeah, you have the event log, so you don't need to have understand about the process and the data. But if you are the person who's extracting the data from the ERP system, you should have understanding about the process, and then you should have understanding of the data. Okay? Well, normally the understanding of process could be based on the documents, right? And then conversation with the people who's working in the task, so that those unstructured data or those documents can be easily understandable, translate into understandable way for the people who is extracting the event logs. And also, the LLM could be used for process model generations. So some of the text documentations, so it's not like creating the event logs and the different variants from the big data. But then if there's a document such as saying that my company, after customer place the order, we check the invoice and those kind of like text data that explain about the entire processes. If you feed in the data into the LLM model, it actually be able to create the BPMN, a format of model, not like a visualizing form, but in the coding form. So that's possible. And then this is the relevant literature of it. And also we can use ML technology for decision making. So we can do AI built predictive model to analyze forecast, process, choice, compliance, and flow time. For example, we can also make a hypothesis if there is any increase of durations, how it's going to affect our profitability, right? That we can also test it with the machine learning AI. So this is slightly different AI, right? We have predictive AI and the generative AI. So that's why we could use a predictive AI to do the third bullet points. And then we can also improve user interface with the software. Sometimes you have to learn the software, where the functions are and how to use the functions. It could accounting, the process mining, purchase to pay a cash for order. And also, I found the literature saying that when the LLM process the query, the prompt, but then I came across one literature about how we can actually use a process mining to enhance the LLM results, such as LLM results are linear, right? So one directional. Also, it can enhance the accessibility to the software. Some of the coding language that you probably need to know when we do the process mining, such as SQL, and then also process query language that you need to use when you do the Celonis analysis and create KPIs on the dashboards. Those could be challenging for the beginner who is starting to use this kind of like software, so that LLM could be used to create the codings, as LLM is used to create the Python codings, probably used it. And also, yeah. So also, instead of the end users actually go and then do all the work, if it's integrated with the LLM, it can command to LLM and chat it, and then they will translate it into the event query language, and then it will execute those event query language in the software. And then these are the relevant the papers. And lastly, we can also have custom LLM. So there's RAG retriever augmented generation technique, which using the external database and then add it to the prompt and fed it to the LLM. So the LLM results may be more relevant and then more accurate. So because the LLM is giving the general response, so that it's not going to understand the event data of the organization and the organization specific data. So that by integrating this technique, it could increase the accuracy and the relevance of a response again. And then also, if there's a concern about privacy issue, there is the GPT-4 on Azure. So that can kind of like prevent data leakage and then increase the data privacy. So custom LLMs for organization could enable insights specific to ERP systems like SAP, integrating structured, unstructured data for refined analysis. And then these are all the works that we've done in CARLAB on process mining. So we have Dr. Alice's work, and then Dr. Mika's with Varsa Harley's work, and then my work, and then Kelly's work. And this is references for the paper that I talked about in the presentations. Thank you.